Welcome to day 32 of 60 Days of Inspiration with Kathleen Gonzalez. And we are studying Living the Sacred Yes, Affirmations for Action by the Reverend Deborah L. Johnson. And today's reading is Daily Communion. I pray every day, not out of duty or habit, but out of desire and intent. My daily communion with the beloved of my soul is the sweetest and richest part of my day. I take the time to mind my mind, remembering the sovereignty of God over all conditions and circumstances. I take solace in the fact that the divine order reigns supreme. In prayer, I am uplifted, inspired, nurtured, guided, and protected. Malice melts from my heart, and I become an instrument of empowerment, transformation, and reconciliation. Through prayer, I create the space for divine unfoldment and manifestation. Boy, do we need this today. Right now, in the middle of the pandemic, in the middle of race riots, in the middle of police murders, I'm in Arizona. We're under curfew. They've called out the National Guard. It's very hard to balance that against a spiritual practice. It's like, what in the heck is going on? And so I appreciate the instruction in here. I pray every day, not out of duty or habit, but out of desire and intent. My daily communion with the beloved of my soul is the sweetest and richest part of my day. I take the time to mind my mind, remembering the sovereignty of God over all conditions and circumstances. And so when all these things happen, and we have a tendency to get obsessed by them and move into fear and into injustice and into anger and into sadness and into depression and into hopelessness, the best thing we can do is pray, is remember who we are, the divine, and have communion with our divinity and mind our mind. Say, okay, I'm going to purposefully take my mind off of this and put it somewhere where it can do some good. I take the time to mind my mind, remembering the sovereignty of God over all conditions and circumstances. So being in communion, our daily communion with God, is more powerful, has sovereignty, is more powerful than putting our mind to anything else. I take solace in the fact that divine order reigns supreme. So even within all this, there's some divine order. And if we can hook into that divine order, we can actually create order out of chaos. But there's no order other than divine order. If we look for order somewhere else, we won't find it. In prayer, I am uplifted, inspired, nurtured, guided, and protected. So in prayer, we can see beyond the moment and hook into a universal constant. And when we do that, malice melts from my heart, and I become an instrument of empowerment, transformation, and reconciliation. When we hook into the power of the divine, anything is possible. In our own small minds, it's like we can't think of how to solve these big problems. It's like they're beyond the capability of our minds to solve, but they're not beyond God's capability, and they're not beyond God's ability to inspire us to inspired action. So if we can just surrender and move into prayer and wait for our own fears to melt, malice melts from my heart, have that malice to melt through prayer, then the endless possibilities that the power of the divine brings to the situation become ready to be acted on. And there's room for action, and that action is empowerment, transformation, and reconciliation. So through prayer, I create the space for divine unfoldment and manifestation. That's the power we have. By praying, we create the space for divine unfoldment and manifestation. And if we're not praying, and that can include anything, just some inward attention, meditation, prayer, just, intent of, connecting to our divine, in gratitude. We talked about how powerful gratitude is. If we can get in that space, we create space for divine unfoldment and manifestation. We create a space for miracles. Things that we couldn't personally do ourselves, but we become inspired to do something, and it opens the door for the divine to manifest. And that's how miracles happen. But we are there to open the door. That's our job. Open the door. And we forget, because in fear we don't feel powerful enough. We don't see the door. We don't even, it's not even we don't see the doorknob. It's not like, we don't go, oh, there's a door. I'm going to choose whether to open it or not. We don't even see the door. We don't see the door. We don't see the doorknob. We're stuck in fear. We're looking in the other direction. We're not paying attention at all to the true power that we have in the situation. That's our power. Through prayer, I create the space for divine unfoldment and manifestation. Take your power. Take your power. Take your power. We'll see you tomorrow.